Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Eurowatch. Today's episode might be fun. If you're a fan of me, if you follow me, you'll know that on Sunday evening I was very petrified for Lille's match, and this has been recorded an hour before it kicks off. So my heart is racing.
Petrified is putting it lightly.
Ritwik's going to carry this podcast. The podcast today, Ritwik, we're covering the squads so far that have been released, aren't we?
Yeah, there's a lot of spice here, like more than my fourth grade birthday party back at home in India. Like this, there's a since we last spoke, obviously a lot of teams have come up with their squads. There have been a lot of incredible additions. For the first time, additions more than omissions. That seems to be the name of the game.
Yeah, well, they expanded the squad limit to 26, so there's a bit more leeway for some teams. So today we're gonna wrap through the Germany squad, the Italy squad, the French squad, the Portuguese squad, and the Netherlands squad, I believe. Right, those are the big ones that have been released. This has been recorded the day before Spain are releasing theirs, and a couple of days before England are releasing theirs.
Yeah. And Alex, I would like to get started up with this Portugal squad because it's pretty much what we expected. Very, very few notable exclusions, I would say.
Yeah, and the Portugal squad seems to have garnered quite a bit of hype. When I was Googling it online, actually, all the articles that are popping up are from British press saying, Portuguese squad looks fantastic. And it does look very good. They got João Cancelo and Nelson Semedo in there. Pepe still from Porto. They have included Sporting's Nuno Mendes after his brilliant season.
And Pedro Gonçalves.
Yeah, and oh yes, the player who's basically been like Bruno Fernandes at Sporting. They've also got a few players in from across Europe. João Felix in, Diogo Jota, Renato Sanchez. Ruben Neves. Yeah, it's a very stacked squad. Is there anyone who's actually been omitted?
I would struggle to say who's been omitted.
Because they're including Danilo Pereira of PSG, which means they must have included everyone. He's like your backup. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put it past him to start him as well. Because William Carvalho has not had the best of seasons at Betis, and obviously it's Ruben Neves is a bit of a coin flip player sometimes. Obviously, João Moutinho is still there at the ripe old age of, I believe, 38. It says this is it. This is going to be a swan song for three of, I would say, Portugal's most important players since the last time they won the Euros in 2004.
Well, I've just noticed that. Well, obviously, this is me and Ritwik are reading through this properly for the first time, so it's a bit more reaction. I've noticed there's actually been a massive omission. Ritwik, have you spotted it?
No, please do tell.
Rui Patricio's not in the squad.
Of
in
course
goal.
He is.
No, he's not.
Of course he is.
It's
Anthony Lopez, Rui Patricio, and Rui Silva.
It's Jose Sá, Anthony Lopez, and Rui Silva.
No, it's Rui
We got
Patricio.
different squads up.
No, probably got the squad.
No, it's not.
I'm looking at the Associated Press squad, May 20th, 2021. Associated Press doesn't lie.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking at 442, so I'm going to go to the Portuguese Twitter account, and we're going to see who's worse, 442 or the Associated Press, and we're not cutting this out, right?
Alex is having a bit of a mare. Rui Patricio is one of the most consistent players there. You're probably looking at a team that's there for a friendly game.
It says, let me read, I'm pretty certain it even says, Portugal have announced their 26-man Euro 2020 squad, and there is no, that's the 442 one. I'm going on their Twitter. Squawka News.
I'm on the Twitter as well.
Okay, so Ritwik is correct.
Of course I'm correct.
So ignore me there. 442, I'm not going to rely on you, even though I've got 6 tabs up of you now. So thanks for making me look like a mug in the first 5 minutes of the podcast. Ritwik, would you like to go to the next team?
Okay, the next team that we're going to explore, and obviously we're completely spreading out the hot takes. We're actually going to be talking about the German national team, because I'm leaving the spiciest one out for the end, and Alex probably knows what that is. Germany have big news, because Germany, in all their glory, and Joachim Löw is obviously his last tournament. He is going to be leaving the national team. Hansi Flick is widely reported to take over, But
He pretty much
yeah,
admitted
Mats
it as well in an
Hummels,
interview.
Thomas Muller.
Because
Yeah,
oh yeah, they've been recalled, which
they've been
that
recalled. It's a little sad that Jerome Boateng didn't get recalled because he has had a gangbuster season for Bayern Munich. He's made Niklas Süle look like chump change. He's put Alaba out of the team as a center back. He's done incredibly well. And I think he's flown under the radar, especially last season when he won was it, like in he was basically that Champions League defender all the way to that win. So it's great to see.
yeah, it's interesting. Look, there's a couple of players in there that haven't performed amazingly well that have got in, like Kai Havertz, Timo Werner. They've not set the world on fire at Chelsea, but it's
No, they have
interesting to see
not.
Kevin Volland in Monaco and Jamal Musiala. Musiala's got straight into the squad, which
I
is
think I
I
think
think
yeah.
a
So
bit early.
a few of the there is some controversy. I think Musiala's definitely all it is sticking it to England that he chose us and he's a player for Bayern Munich. There is no way in the world he should be there. This is like Julian Green for the USA all over again when Landon Donovan was dropped. I think the problem is that he hasn't taken Riddle Baku of Wolfsburg, and you're left with a real dearth at right back, which makes me think that Löw's going to play Kimmich at right back because that's the only option you have if you're playing a tournament and you don't have someone like that. You play Kimmich at right back because I remember when Philipp Lahm started the World Cup before last in central defensive midfield, Germany was struggling. Moment he played right back, it was completely different. And
But then
I
it's
think
low, and
not
he's a
taking Riddle.
bit. Lowe's a bit out of touch. He'll probably play Matthias Ginter at right back.
And he hasn't played, and Ginter hasn't played right back since he got ousted from Borussia Dortmund,
Well,
and that's a worry.
well, the logic would be to put Kimmich there, but I just feel like Lowe is illogical. As I think he might put a centre back there. Also, it's interesting that Ter Stegen's missed out. He's not in the German team.
He is injured. He is injured. He
Yeah,
is injured.
he's
And
missing out on
the other
tournament.
big piece of news is that one of Germany's most beloved players has voluntarily said, I can't play the Euros. And that's Marco Reus. And, looking back on it, this may be a very good decision. Reus, obviously, historically, as people know, was injured for the World Cup, which Germany won. They didn't need him to win. But having a player of his ilk, and after the season he's had for Dortmund, you would think that, Royce and the team would be incredible, but Royce has chosen not to go because he's finally hitting some sort of fitness and he doesn't want to jeopardize the rest of his career playing straight after the season. And I think what's important for the listeners to know is that this is a pandemic season. It's an absolute miracle that we've been able to get as much football as we have. But these players are tired. They're not able to live their regular lives. They're in bubbles. Lots of restrictions on who they can meet, what they can do, and they're playing through all of that. And for someone like Royce, if he gets injured now, all of that will be gone for nothing. And I'm sure the Borussia Dortmund faithful will have no problems with this. Royce being out also does leave them a problem because Leroy Sané at left wing is not being a success for Bayern Munich. And he actually, to be fair, hasn't really been a success for the German national team either.
Well, in the other big bit of news, Robin Koch's at centre back, so I feel like that was my favourite part of the Germany squad.
Oh, definitely. We love seeing Leeds players up there.
Yeah, I don't think he's played really since he's been injured, but fair enough to Low. I would like to take us to, I know the spicy one we're leaving to the end. Should we go to the Netherlands?
Yes, let's go to the Netherlands.
Okay, well, I'm searching it on Twitter now because I don't trust 442 anymore. Ritwik, have you got it up in front of you? That's a no. Let me find it.
No, I shouldn't be taken from the Athletic because this is the 34-man provisional squad.
Well, actually, it's provisional, but that still says quite a bit because Weghorst has made it in to the professional team, which is quite big news, I think.
Oh, let me actually. You know what? Obviously, this is a very participatory pod today. We're finding out as you're finding out. I'm going to @KNVB on Twitter.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Oh no, I've got it up. It's so. Yeah, Van Antholt's in there. still.
Patrick Van Aanholt, good choice. He's also leaving Crystal Palace.
Oh, is it?
He's
Oh,
leaving.
yeah.
He
As
is
well as
leaving.
half their team. The big one. I'm just going to mention a side point I don't want to talk about, but Sven Botman's not in the team, and ordinarily I would go on a rant about
Yeah.
this, but I don't want to jinx anything. And thinking about Lille
I'm
is
fine with
making
it.
me
I'm
throw
fine
up.
with it. I'm
No,
fine
no,
with it.
no, we're not going to talk about him. We're
We're
gonna
not
go
gonna
to
talk about
anything other than Lille. So I don't one that I don't look like an idiot after, and two, so I don't throw up live on podcast.
Oh my
Two.
God, Quincy is there. Quincy is there.
Oh, Quincy. In fairness, he's not the he's not the only one. I mean, no, in another team, which we might get onto if it has actually been announced. But yeah, Veghorst is in there. Promise is in there, as you said. Cody Gakpo has made it. A couple other Eredivisie players, such as Davy Klaassen and Cheong Koop Miners. Klaassen, Klaassen, I want to say, I have publicly slated him, especially on this podcast before, and called him the slowest man on earth. He's turned it around at Ajax. I have to take my hat off.
He has definitely turned it around. When these struggling Dutch players come back to the Netherlands, something in them is just restored. But I will say one of my favorite additions to the team, and I hope this is the final team, is Anwar El Ghazi.
Ooh,
I think
from Aston Villa.
I think El Ghazi has had a very good season for Villa. I think he'll do even better, and maybe in a year or two he could be pushing up to a bigger team. El Ghazi's been great. I believe he was also Villa's penalty taker, so that's a responsibility.
He scored one today against Chelsea.
He scored a really good one today. So no more surprises in that sense. Obviously, Nathan Ake is there, which I don't like. I think he's very ordinary. He's played like 6 games for City this year. He basically just went for a payday, and Bournemouth are nearly back up in the Premier League. So who knows?
Well, let's go to a neighbouring country, Ritwik, because I wanted to make sure that it is official. And have you seen the Belgian squad?
No, I have not.
Well, let me tell you about it, because I think you'll prefer to hear it from me. You know how I've joked all season that Roberto Martinez always includes Nasser Chadli, and I've not given him a chance to improve, right?
No.
And we were saying this Belgian squad, it's going to include him and a bunch of old players.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was right. It has included Nasser Chadli.
If Nasser Chadli is there, why isn't Marouane Fellaini? Marouane Fellaini is one of the best Dutch national players of the last 10 years.
Dutch?
And I will hear no slander. I mean, Belgian, sorry. I keep that in. That's for you. Honestly, though, there's a good team in there. There's a good 11 in there to make it all the way to the quarterfinals. In my honest opinion, there is a good team in there to make it all the way there. Because
it depends if Nasser Chadli starts.
Yeah. And they have a big hole in central defensive midfield because out of everyone I can see, the only DM I can actually see is Leander Dendoncker. And that doesn't really fill me with much hope. There's Dennis Pratt as well. But
we're looking at the same graphic, aren't we, from Squawka News? I want you to look up top and read out their strikers.
Oh my. Michi Batshuayi, Crystal Palace. Christian Benteke, Crystal Palace. Jeremy Doku, Gen. Eden Hazard, Real Madrid. Leandro Trossard, Brighton, great news. Dries Mertens, Napoli, and obviously the big man himself, my choice of Serie A Player of the Year, Romelu Bolingoli, Lukaku.
I count about 3 out of 8 players there who are actually in form, and that's Kevin De Bruyne, Romelu Lukaku, Eden, and Dries Mertens.
I mean, Benteke was on form before he got injured.
Exactly. Eden Hazard was on form before he got injured, like 2.5 years ago. So, I'm looking at that.
Court was also in good form. I'd say Courtois.
Oh yeah, I mean up front, the rest of the team is alright. Jason Denaya's had a good season. Now I've looked at the rest of the defence, I'm less convinced. Jan Vertonghen has, but then it's behind him. Oh my God, they've got Thomas Vermaelen still.
Yeah, of course they did. Because
how's he not retired?
Honestly, if they've got Thomas Vermaelen from Vissel Kobe, they need to put in Fellaini. Honestly, when you're 85 minutes and everyone's tired, how do you score? You lump the ball up to Fellaini.
I thought you were going to say when you're 85 years old. I was going to say I'd be surprised if Vermaelen was that young. He's
so
been around so long.
I think the best thing to do is for him to continue with his 3-5-2. Have this be the last tournament for both Vertonghen and Alderweireld. Stick Boyata in between them. Put Carrasco on the right. Put Togan on the left. Have a midfield of Yuri Tielemans and Kevin De Bruyne. So that's your 3, your 4. Maybe have a front 3 of. If he's fit, obviously play him. Eden Hazard, Dries Mertens, and Romelu Lukaku. I think that's a team that can get you pretty much to the semis. I mean, the quarters.
I mean, reading their team, I'm very unconvinced. I do have to say. So
fair enough.
I'm worried for I'm worried for them. Well, we said we weren't going to cover Italy, Spain, and England because their squads haven't been announced. Italy's released a 33-man squad for a friendly against San Marino, which doesn't matter. So what squads we got left for it? We've got the French squad. We've Netherlands. We've done Portugal. Is there any other big ones any other ones you want to cover before we go to the...
I guess not really. I like that Tim Sparv is there for the Finnish national team. Love me some Tim Sparv.
We've got a very nice wife, remember?
Yes, very much. Very much so. It's nice to see. It's nice to see. Some of Artem Zyuba and Zabotsky and Sobolev for the Russian team. Austria, obviously, no real surprises.
Let me
Marko Arnautovic is there up front.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, let me cut in then with one of our teams. I said I wouldn't go near Lille, but I'll have to just to this. The Turkey team. We've picked them up. Now they've actually released their 30-man squad. I'm just going to read a few of the names on there because they're ones to look at. We've got. I think they sell the quality of the team. So in goal, I'll have Ugudan Sakir. He'll be a name for the future. But in defence, they've got Zeki Çelik of Lille, Mero Demiral of Juventus, Ozan Kabak of Liverpool, Soyuncu of Leicester, Ayhan of Sassuolo as well. Their midfield, they've got Cengiz Ünder of Leicester. They've also got
Hakan Çalhanoğlu of AC Milan.
Yeah. Okay, Yokuslu of West Brom, who's done okay there. Yusuf Yazici of Lille,
of course.
And then up.
But would Yazici be classified as a midfielder, or would he play further?
He's kind of in between. More of a forward, definitely. More of a forward. And then up front.
More like Miguel Michu.
Yeah. That's a very good comparison. Yeah, and up front they've got Burak Yilmaz, Enes Unal, and then they've also got someone for Fortuna Dusseldorf, Kenan Karaman, who...
Karaman, yeah.
Yeah, I think...
Big up Dusseldorf fans. I mean, it's good to see it's a player from that side of Germany being represented. Yeah. Very, very tasteful.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. Right, should we go to the big one?
The big one is obviously the French national team. And the biggest surprise, obviously, for... everybody is that big man KM19 Karim Benzema is back. KB19, I would say. He is back, and instead of getting the number 9 jersey, he's been given the number 19 because the 9 still belongs to Olivier Giroud, who could end up this season as a Champions League winner. Who knows? That's still up for us to see.
I think he will.
But I will say this though. When you look at who didn't make it, so I'm setting the scene for you.
Come in with that?
Yeah.
It's just because it sounded like you're about to make a very good monologue, but because you're doing your setting the scene thing. But I've actually got an XI of players who didn't make the French national squad.
That's exactly what I was going to do.
Is it on Planet Football?
No, it's in my head.
Oh, okay. Well, here is the... I've got it on paper, I guess. We've got in goal.
Wait, let me look at
No,
it.
actually, no. If you haven't got it down on paper, I want you to guess it.
Okay. In goal, it's Edouard Mendy.
Of Senegal, no. In goal is Ilham Meslier.
Oh, shoot. My bad.
In fairness, Mendy did grow up in France, but he's one of the players of Senegalese descent who's looked at the French national team and gone, actually, I'll play for Senegal.
But I will say this about Melia. Melia has been given a very good job to be between the sticks for the under-21 team.
Yeah.
I think it's a great responsibility for him to have at his age. And it's much better that he does that this summer than staying on the bench.
Okay.
For the Euros.
In this team, there's 2 left backs in it. So there's a left back and right back. Do you want to name both of them?
Furlan Mendy.
Yes.
Honestly, I was very shocked. I was very
Yeah,
shocked
that makes
he
no
wasn't in
sense
the
to me.
team. Yeah. Furlan Mendy and Theo Hernandez.
Yes, and do you want to?
Again, very big shock. I mean, honestly, Theo Hernandez has been better than Luca Digne. I get that Digne playing in the Premier League, but Digne has been very suspect this end of
Well,
the season, and I don't like it.
here's a spicy fact for you, Ritwik. Now, I was on a podcast the other day, and I went on a bit of a monologue about players from France going against their national team and going for other teams. The reverse of what we've seen in the past, where players from smaller nations will switch to a big nation. Players are now looking at the French national team and going, actually, I'm going to see if I've got any heritage at somewhere else. I'm going to play there. Because it does make sense. And that's why why teams like Senegal are becoming so strong. But I'm bringing this up because Theo Hernandez grew up in Spain. And he is uncapped. So it looks like France are probably set to lose a very class left back, and Spain are about to gain one.
Honestly, it would be great because Jordi Alba probably has one tournament left. Obviously, he's got like 21 goals and assists for Bayern in all competitions this season, but his clock's gonna run out. And well, who do they have? Serge Reguilon?
Yeah.
Can't be kidding me.
Yeah, exactly.
I take Hernandez over Serge Reguilon.
And they'll have Laporte in there as well. And excluding Laporte, who were the two centre backs?
The Leipzig pair, Ibrahima Konate and Diop Upamecano.
Indeed.
Honestly, if the fact that one of them hasn't made it ahead of Clement Longley is a joke. Clement Longley's had been terrible.
Upamecano, I think he was in the World Cup squad, but he's been put down and Jules Koundé's been put up. So they've kind of been reversed, which is a bit interesting. This is a 4-3-3, by the way.
Yeah, I guess both of them will be in the under-21 team, but I think it's just a time for Upamecano. Maybe looking back on this will be just fine for him because he has a very important summer ahead of him because as for those who don't know, Diop Upamecano has been bought by Bayern Munich. Yes, and he's going there with his manager. Obviously, it's Julian Nagelsmann is going to be the Bayern manager, so he has a very important next year ahead of him.
Let's go into midfield now.
Oh my God, this is a big one. Yeah.
3 centre mids.
The midfield, 3 centre mids. Tanguy and Ndombele, maybe of them. I would say maybe Eduardo Camavinga.
Yes, I was about to say he's the one that'd be hard to guess. Then the third one also in Ligue 1.
Yeah. Okay, then. Oh wait. Moussa Sissoko has been chosen. Yeah, I don't know. It must be one of the under 21 kids.
I'll give you a clue. He's pretty well established and he was linked to Arsenal. Yep.
Oh, Hassan
Yep, indeed. What's your thoughts on those 3 missing out for Moussa Sissoko?
It's fine. It's fine.
Is it?
Like we've alluded to in many pods. No, I'll tell you what. As we've alluded to in many pods, there are some people who just awaken for the national team like nothing. And Moussa Sissoko for the national team is that kind of player. Especially in the last Euros, he is incredibly important when Paul Pogba just switched off completely. Although I don't like Adrien Rabiot there. I think he's had a very mixed season for Juventus. And it shows because they're nearly out of the Champions League positions. I feel like even with Spurs' final, resting place in the Premier League table, I feel like Tanguy Ndombele did a really good job. I think he did enough to maybe get ahead of some people like Thomas Lemar.
My problem is with Sissoko. I feel like I get he tries hard with his national team, but so does everyone. And it feels like, I don't know, it feels like Deschamps
do they though?
Yeah, it's your national team. It feels like Deschamps is like, he thinks, on FIFA you get a +10 attributes card. It feels like he thinks he's got that for Sissoko. I just don't know. I think he's so limited. I think that's harsh. But for the sake of time, we'll go into the forward line. Now, obviously, Benzema's been put in.
Yeah.
And who's missed out?
Yes.
So there's a right winger who you might not guess, a left winger who you should guess, and a striker who you should guess.
I honestly at right wing, I'd probably say someone like who's the Donny who just signed for Tigres?
Oh, Tolvan. No, it's not him.
It's not Tovan. Okay, because I thought Tovan might might have made the team because I mean, obviously stop start, but he's good for the French national team. Left wing, obviously it's
Yep.
Anthony Martial, who honestly shouldn't have a future at Manchester United anymore, in my humble opinion. And I'd say the forward, the person who's maybe lucky to miss out. He's had good spates this season. But I'm gonna call him by the name I call him, Alexander Laxathrat.
Yeah. It is Alexander Laxathrat, and a right wing was Jonathan Okone. So yeah, I feel like he's nowhere near this.
Okay, yeah, I remember. Ikone was a PSG
Yeah, and he's
graduate,
at
right?
Lille. And he's been like the worst performing player
But
this season.
we'll get on to that a little later. But Alex, I want to tell you about the three people I'm
Go on.
really excited about. Obviously, one goes without saying is Karim Benzema. And the man who I think has taken Martial's place, who I think is actually going to be a gangbuster forward, is
Yeah.
Marcus Thuram
He's awesome.
of
He's awesome.
Mönchengladbach. I'm very glad to see him. And I'm also interested to see how Jules Koundé comes along. Because I think the defenders that are going to start are going to be Rafael Varane and Presnel Kimpembe. Although Kimpembe is just a hothead. You could switch him around with either one of Zuma, Hernandez,
I'd say
Koundé.
swapping with Longley or Koundé.
Lenglet Koundé, yeah. Because Koundé is fast as hell. And Varane's there to like stabilize the ship. So it could be interesting. But Wissam Ben Yedder of Monaco, great option. I think Benzema and Giroud will be the first two options at the number 9 spot. But Ben Yedder's had a great season. Ben
Yeah,
Yedder's had a
absolutely.
fantastic season. But I also don't know if Ousmane Dembele has done enough.
I know
to
he's had a
warrant being
better
there.
season,
I
but hasn't
really
he
don't.
missed a lot of open goals?
No, he's still been trash, man.
What
He dribbles well and he can hold the ball, but you cannot rely on him. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that they have to keep relying on Kingsley Coman because between both of them, like one of them's always going to be injured.
Yeah, I guess a better question would be what's the weak point in this in their starting 11? Is there one? Have they been
Goalkeeper.
what in Lloris?
Yes.
Explain.
I think Lloris has had a bad season for Spurs. He's had a bad season for Spurs. His communication has been all off the lines. His set piece handling has been very questionable, especially from corners. I think that has to do with the communication as well. His game has regressed. And obviously he will be playing. He's the captain, and he's Deschamps' man. But I think the undercurrent to all of this is that, in my opinion, this could be the last tournament for
Oh
Deschamps.
yeah, I think it is.
I have a very strange feeling that it's going to be lost, especially if he wins this. If he wins this, he's
Yeah.
retiring the next day. Like, put that in writing. If he doesn't win this, I still think he goes up, obviously with his head held high. He's already reached a final. He's already won a World Cup. He's a bona fide legend, both as a player and a manager. Because there's this
Ritwik cut out here, but he's in the middle of making an argument about Zidane for the French national team.
in not very many certain terms, said he's staying at Real Madrid. And if Juventus don't make it to the Champions League, I could really see him taking over the French team. All of these people really look up to him. All of these young people, Ben Yedder, Thuram, Mbappe, Kimpembe, have all like wax lyrical about Zidane as their hero, and it would be incredible to see him leading the
That's an
national team.
interesting argument to make. I do think he'll leave after this. I think Zidane's not finished at club level. I think he has ambitions to go there. I think the national team's his feelings probably like another few years away. But I see what you mean. I think it would be a good move. But I guess another manager throw into the hat. Not to spend too much time on it because there's a squad. Just the end of our squad analysis. There aren't many, Maybe Wenger should just come back. Bring Wenger back for the fun of it.
Yeah, I thought Wenger was going to come back for the Dutch national team. Wenger would have been streets ahead of
He would have been
the man
sissies
they
ahead
have
of
right
Frank de
now.
Boer. But in fairness, he brought Weghorst back, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there any other points you want to make on any other points you want to make on the French team?
Honestly, I think Alex and I will be coming back to you next week with a lot more spice because I
Oh,
believe
yeah, we're
England's
gonna go for
national
an
team
hour
is
on
going to
that.
drop sometime this week. Spain will have their full squad, which will be very interesting to see. Obviously, Alex brings up this point about Theo Hernandez. It's gonna be interesting to see because Spain will always take whoever doesn't pick want to play for another team. Spain will do it. They've done it
with
before.
Laporte.
And they've done it with Laporte. They did it with Diego Costa. So it'll be interesting. Like I would have loved it all to be in one place. I think spreading it out over different parts of Europe, obviously with different time zones, plays absolute havoc with someone who lives in San Francisco. But yeah, I think it's going to be a solid team. I think England, they're going to be just maybe one or two surprises, but obviously surprises we factored in. And you have to also know that like these are squads, primarily the same 11 people plus or minus 3 people are going to be starting all the games, and that's going to be pretty much for every side, unless they like win their group outright in the first 2 games, and then can afford to play a B team in the last game. And honestly, do you want to be a pity B team player? Or would you rather just like have the summer to yourself, relax after a COVID season, and get ready for the next season?
It's a nice thing to end on there. I think we'll come back to you next week with the England and Spain squads. Thank you for listening, guys. See you next week.